Welcome to another episode of Just Scrapping By, the YouTube channel where we find value in some of the most commonly thrown away electronics. In today's episode, we will be scrapping a video cassette recorder, manufactured by Hitachi, to see what valuable components can be found within. The model of the VCR is VTUX627A. It took us about 1 hour to disassemble, and another hour to depopulate the circuit boards. So let's get into the project. Taking the top panel off of the VCR is actually very simply. Just remove the top screw on the back of the device. Now would also be a good time to remove the 2 screws located near the RCA ports. To access the circuit board, we will need to remove the mechanical drive that plays the video cassette tapes. To get this out of the way, remove the 5 screws holding it to the chassis. We can now remove the circuit boards and see what we can salvage. Although it appears there is not much on the circuit boards, there are some electrolytic capacitors, inductors, and transformers, as well as some other specialty components. Let's get scrapping and see what we end up with. We recovered almost 100 assorted electrolytic capacitors from the VCR. In previous videos, this would equal a large salvage value. However, many of these capacitors are lower value and not worth much. In the end, we salvaged almost $19 in capacitors. We removed less than $1 in ceramic capacitors from the VCR. There were more on the circuit board, but they could not be cleanly removed. We will try not to spend our 76 cents in one place. We did not fare much better with our salvage of polyester capacitors, making only 80 cents in salvage. Our salvage of film capacitors was even worse. The 40 cents in salvage does not even cover the cost of electricity to remove them from the circuit board. However, we removed them and here they are. Hopefully we can get into some good stuff now. We removed 2 small 0.02 mH bobbin inductors from the VCR. For $3. We also removed a very small inductor we have never encountered before. Our inductor reader does not provide a value for this component, but we are pretty sure it is an inductor. If we are wrong, please let us know in the comments section. We removed a standard 9 mH choke inductor. These are very useful inductors and we will definitely find a use for this. In total, we salvaged almost $7 in inductor components. You can never have too many transformers laying around. Transformers also always sell online, so we have no problem offloading this little brick of a component. We removed 3 RF adjustable coil transformers from the VCR. Why are these little guys worth so much money? Well, because they are becoming more rare with the advancements in integrated circuits. We will definitely find a buyers for these online. Now we are getting into some valuable salvage. We removed 7 integrated circuits from the VCR. There are only 6 in our image because we needed to use one in a project before we even took the photos for this video. The 24CO2 chip is an EPROM chip. The 2533D is an amplifier chip. The BA6209 is a motor driver chip. The LA7256 is a high-fidelity audio chip. The LC7455A is a closed caption extraction chip. And finally, the S01WB is a rectifier. The chip that is missing is the PC817 photocoupler chip. These chips are worth almost $40 online. We removed a dozen micro buttons of the front of the VCR. Although these buttons are cheap, they are always very useful for projects, so we will either end up selling them or keeping them for ourselves. There were 15 standard BJT transistors in the VCR. The bulk of these transistors were NPN type and in total give us almost $9 in salvage. We removed 3 very useful MOSFET components from the device. 2 of them were D1765 Darlington N-channel MOSFETs. There was also the F6510 power switch MOSFET. If we do not sell these, we will definitely use them. I do not know why we even mention resistors. Especially standard resistors. Here are the 3 we removed. These things are worth so little that it is a waste to remove them off of the circuit board. However, we throw all our resistors in a drawer and keep them for spares because you never know when you might need a specific value. There were only 2 salvageable diodes in the entire VCR. The RK34 is a rectifier diode, and the RN3Z is an ultrafast recovery diode. We also removed some light-emitting and infrared diodes. The light-emitting diodes are fun to make little projects with, but the IR diodes are very useful for using as motion detectors or line-of-sight signal transmitters. Although they are not worth very much, they are fun to play with. There were 2 sets of RCA ports in the VCR. We really do not have a use for these ports, but we are slowly creating a huge collection of them to sell as a bulk order on our online store. There was only 1 motor in the VCR we could salvage. This motor is unique compared to other motors we have salvaged in the past, as it is soldered to the leads on the plastic frame. We have kept everything intact and will sell as one package. We removed the segment display from the VCR in one complete piece. We also secured the back of the display with tape because for some reason it is free floating and not attached to the glass. We will list this display on our online store. We also removed a small selection of oscillators and resonators. The 2 orange components are ceramic resonators, and the metal cans are crystal oscillators. The small component at the top of the photo with 4 leads coming out of it looks like a crystal oscillator, but our gut feeling tells us it is something different. It has the code 7H282U printed on the top as well as the country code for Japan. If you know what this component is used for, please tell us in the comments section. The last 2 components we are salvaging from VCR are mode selectors. The mode selector component in a VCR is crucial for ensuring that the microcontroller is informed of the current state of the tape and the playback head. These components are very hard to find online and worth a lot of money to sell. If we take all of the components we salvaged from the Hitachi VCR and add the value of the scrap circuit boards and scrap steel, we get a total value of $153.44 in salvage. Now that we have the total amount of salvage from the device, we can now check out the profitability. The device took 1 hour to disassemble and another hour to depopulate. If we take the total salvage value and subtract the purchase cost of the device as well as our labor, we can make a maximum profit of $116.82 if we sell everything. We would need to sell a little over $36 in salvage in order to break even on this project. So the question is, was scrapping this device worth it? If you were to obtain the device for free, or for at least less than $25, you would make a profit. There are not many high-value components in the device, but the device is easy to disassemble and the boards are easy to depopulate. The few components that you can salvage out of the device are useful for either resale or other projects. However, some of the components were destroyed during depopulation, which lowered our overall salvage value. For the Hitachi VTUX627A video cassette player, we give it a scrapping grade of B-. Thank you for watching our video and remember to subscribe to our channel to see more great tutorials on how to turn the old into gold.